Alright everyone, welcome back to day 2 of the national seminar organized by the Department of Special Education and sponsored by the National Commission for Women, themed Rights of Differently Abled Women. Yesterday, with the inaugural ceremony and our able torch bearers, at the inaugural ceremony, we lit the spark, and those sparks were then moved to a flame through the able discussions and deliberations with our torch bearers. Today, we have for you our second team of torch bearers to fan that flame to a roaring fire. We're looking forward to another day of intense learning and sharing. So without further ado, let's begin with today's proceedings. Our first resource person for today and torch bearer is Advocate Anjali Bhamani. Ms. Yuki Gupta, please make the introductions.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am. It's my honor to introduce you now. I'm going to give a short bio, or I'm going to read a short bio about you. So, Ms. Anjali Bhamani is a solicitor practicing in the Bombay High Court and Supreme Court of India. Her law practice is mainly in the field of corporate, testamentary, property, and testability law. Her clients include Indian multinational NRIs investing in India, Indian financial institutions, private and public trust, high net worth individuals, and NGOs working in the field of disability. Ms. Bhamani is a BCom graduate and a postgraduate in law from Bombay University. At various seminars and conferences, she has presented several papers on corporate law, human rights, women's rights, and disability. Her work on the Bombay High Court guidelines for scribe in 2016 has culminated in guidelines for the entire country. Ms. Bhamani has represented successfully many persons with disabilities who have aspired to pierce the glass ceilings of courses and subjects. She is also a recipient in 2009 of the National Award as Role Model from the President of India, Zonda Club Women, Club's Women of the Year, and several other awards. Ms. Bhamani is also involved with the Citizens Forum for Praja. Currently, she is the board of CREA, an international feminist human rights organization, and National Center for Promotion of Employment for Disabled People. We welcome you, ma'am, and we are waiting to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuki. I request Dr. Commissioner to please present our token of gratitude and appreciation. Ms. Bhamani will be sharing her thoughts on the topic Women with Disability and Indian Legal Framework. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you for inviting me, and very, very sorry for making a mess of the schedule yesterday. I can't blame myself. I have to blame the legal system, not the framework, but the legal system. Matters get listed, don't know when and where, and finally, when they come up, judge doesn't want to hear us. So, what a waste of time yesterday. I missed being here when I could have been here, and unfortunately, my matter got adjourned there. Judges were not in the mood to listen to us. So, that's a legal system. Okay? So, I'm sorry about that, but I'm here today, and thank you for inviting me once again. I have been coming nearly every year, speak here. And the one caveat that I have, I'm not a professor, I don't follow a pattern. If my slide and I go in different directions. Please forgive and please just listen to me and let the slides be for your textbooks or for your notebooks. Okay, forget about it. So I'll start with see, the main thing is that women with disabilities are women and they're also Indians. So first we start with being an Indian and my rights as an Indian are first important. The second part of it is that yes, I'm a woman. So there comes my rights as a woman. And thirdly, I'm a woman with disabilities. So I'm not going to focus on the RCWP Act, which all of you have been hearing about and will hear from me as well. I'm just trying to tell you the broad contours of how we fit into this world. Unfortunately, the world doesn't want us to fit in, but we are here and we are going to make ourselves heard and felt. You see Nanta Ghai yesterday, and I'm so happy that she is on before me because she exactly tells me, what we go through. So there is no law in order, but we are making it happen, and there is a framework in which we can make it happen. So let's start with the Constitution of India. I mean, that is our paramount, that's my slide too, I think. Constitution of India, and why I've written in such a jumbled fashion, as I'm trying to explain it. The Constitution is the paramount body. Okay. After that, I get the UN conventions. So two conventions that affect are the Convention on Women, which is your CEDAW, and your UNCRPA, okay, which is the Convention on Disabilities. So those are the two conventions. We are subject to it, but we are still a sovereign country. We do not. Nobody can call us before the CEDAW, except the committee hearings. So it cannot be, no complaint can be reported. And the third, below the Constitution are various acts. So there are general acts like the IBC, which affect the Indian Penal Code, which affect everyone, all male, female, etc. There are special provisions for women, which we come across later in the slide. But there are some special laws that have been made: domestic violence, the POSH Act, which you all must have heard of. So, well, I'm not going to touch on that, but if you feel at some point you want me to stop and speak about those, I will. But I'm just touching them right now. And the Rights of Personal Disability Act, especially for disability. Okay? So, these are the laws, and under each of these laws, you have various rules and regulations. First, rules, and then you have regulations, notifications, guidelines, circulars. So ultimately, when you as an individual outside of the legal system are dealing with a framework, what is happening where? Right? It could be anywhere. It could be under the law itself, or it could be under the rules, it could be under the regulations, and all these are subordinate to the act itself. I'm going to take a. Please sit down. Yeah, I'm going to take that. Yeah. So, okay, so that's the main important thing to understand the framework of the Indian legal system. And this is not only for disabilities, etc. It's for everybody in any law that you do. If you're doing corporate law like me, you would be the Constitution of India, then you have the Companies Act, under that you have the SEBI Act, etc. And under that you have rules, regulations, guidelines, circulars, notifications. And also what I have not, there's no space on the side, but basically judicial pronouncements. So judiciary is very important, but it basically is secondary to the executive and the legislature. The legislature makes the laws, the executive implements the laws, and the judiciary sees to it that it's all good. So this is where we stand. Okay? That is the basic framework of the Indian legal framework. Okay? The next thing is Article 14. And here we talk about why a special law for persons with disability or why a special law for women with disabilities. We don't need one. If you look at Article 14, every citizen, every person shall be treated equally and have equal protection of the law. This is my favorite article of the Constitution of India. Yes, we have a lot of fundamental rights, but this is a paramount fundamental right. Nobody dare treat me differently from another woman. Nobody dare treat me different from another man. Nobody treat me different from any other person in India. I am the same. I will get equal protection, all on paper, but please accept it. And that is the basic. And whenever we go to fight, you keep that as your fundamental thought. Then if somebody else gets that privilege, then why not this person? Okay? So, yes, on paper it is written, and on paper, and it has been implemented also. So it's not like it's just paper. It's a lot of work, a lot of 75 years of testing this Article 14. Yes, you can make rules for separate classes of people, but basically it is all of us are equal, and that is a fundamental right. 21 speaks about life and liberty, and nobody can take it away without the process of law. So recently, I don't know whether you guys have been reading about the comments being made via bail hearings being heard by the Supreme Court. The bail hearings are being heard by the Supreme Court because so many people's life and liberty are at stake, and therefore everybody tries to go to the highest court and get an order to free them. And you cannot detain me, you cannot take away my life unless it's procedurally done by law. And that's very, very clear about it. So what happens sometimes in disability, you have people say, oh, you can't do this job because you're disabled. No, I have Article 21, I don't even need the RPWP Act. I have Article 21, which says I have the right to my life, to my liberty, my livelihood. I can practice any profession, as long as it's legal, of course. But that's the Article 21 for you. And of course, Article 19 speaks about speech, carrying on business somewhere else, any place you want. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Article 19 speaks about places of when you can have your business, you can do it, and whatever kind of work you need to do. But all that, there's a provision. It's all, there is a limit there. You cannot go wild. I cannot call you names unless I justify it, and unless, I mean, I can say my freedom of speech, I can do what I want with my freedom of speech, but no, it hurts you, use it in court. So please remember that every right has a little conditioning in it, and we have to behave ourselves to some extent. So 14, 19 and 21 are the fundamentals of the Constitution of India. Everything else comes from there. Okay? The next slide speaks of 15 and 16. This is basically affirmative action for women and for other, no discrimination on the grounds of sex, etc., or caste, creed, whatever. The disability movement has been asking that we have one on disability as well. That we should not discriminate because we are disabled. But until now, nobody has taken forward to change the Constitution of India. So 15, is there a hard of hearing person here? The audience? Is this something I should go a little slower for?
I think it's fine.
It's okay. So basically 15 and 16. Okay? And there is this little thing about affirmative action. So you see a lot of places in the Constitution, the Panchayati Raj, etc., where there's reservation for women. Not for women with disabilities, but with women. So there is a reservation which is positive. Okay. So that's 15 and 16 in detail. But basically, disability movement has been trying very hard. We are not here as yet. So you can't even, you can allow me to do anything I want to. You can't hinder me. You cannot put a disability, a liability, a restriction, or a condition in my enjoyment of equal rights with others. What happens very often, and I'm sorry to say this, including disability, they don't put railings on their steps. It's a disability, it's a restriction on me. I can't go around and say I want to on my own. If there is no signages from signages, that's a restriction. You're taking away my Article 15. But we'll leave that later. This is a practical aspect of Article 15. It's a very nuanced, it's at the lowest level I can think of. But it gives you a immediate answer to what is Article 15. You cannot put a disability in my way, you cannot put a restriction, you can't put a condition, you can't put a limitation. And I can stand for any position I want to. Article 16, I can enjoy any post, and it's economic system, which is a cause of movement. Okay? The old days are gone where, oh, you're a woman, you can't do this, and you're a woman, you can't do that, and you're a woman with disability, okay, you can't do 80% of the things. But no, we are taking barriers, and I think we're all there, we're getting there. So whatever it is, we have moved ahead from there. So the Constitution of India is your basic, your fundamental, your privacy backbone on laws. Okay? Everything comes from there. The next slide, I think, is the convention on. We talk about now convention on elimination of discrimination, all kinds of discrimination. So this is it's an old convention. It's a convention of 1979, signed by India in 1990. Why did we take some time? Well, for various reasons we took time to sign it. India takes time for a lot of things, but we did ultimately ratify it, and we live with it. Now, CEDAW is very important in India. We do a lot of, we send in our reports regularly, etc. Until recently, CEDAW, the groups that work on CEDAW in India didn't accept women with disabilities. Anika Rai, as you heard, she was one of the ones who really was instrumental in pushing the disability agenda there as well. Because ultimately, I'm a woman, and any discrimination against me is a discrimination against a woman. So, NCW and CEDAW committees and groups, they have to contend with the fact that women with disabilities also need to be part of that group and have started now opening up their doors to us. So CEDAW is important because it directly deals with all kinds of discrimination against women. And we talk about Article 1 to 6, which talks about non-discrimination, sex trafficking, and in persons with disability, women with disability, trafficking is also quite rapid. It is not only without disability. People with disabilities also get that. So CEDAW is very convenient. I mean, very important for us to be protected. So that is CEDAW. There are 3 sides of CEDAW, but basically, India has ratified. It has said that we cannot enforce registration of marriage compulsory because of various our different communities have different systems, our customs and views are different, but India is working towards getting all marriages registered. So across we are at it. And many other things like the age of consent or age of marriage, we're working towards all those. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm not a person who uses universal code at this point, but I'm talking about the fact that we need uniformity in issues like marriage right now. We do need that. That is, the UNCRPE, it's a new generation convention. It's a convention of the 21st century. We signed it, we ratified it. We signed it on the first day, we ratified it a year later. I think India was the 6th country to ratify it, and we're working towards it. We made our first report in, it's supposed to be every 2 years, but first report was made in 2018, 17 or 18, and 19 we were before the committee, which heard us, and women with disabilities has, in the UNCRPE has a special section, Article 6. The only reason, again, I emphasize, is that why do you need a separate article for women? It's because you don't want to leave out any small concern also of a woman. That's why there is a special article. Otherwise, the whole convention applies to all of us. We have the right to education, the right to health, accessibility, justice, legal capacity, but we also have non-discrimination and any other concerns that we may have particularly, we need to push those come under Article 6 of the UN Convention. And we have this specially there, and because of that, we also have it in our law. We have Section 4 of the RPWP Act. But the UN Convention is what it is. Okay? So the next section is our RPWP Act, and here is Section 4. So, no discrimination, equal enjoyment, and special issues for us. And over time, we also realize that there are many committees, and on these committees, women are not included. In fact, recently, some survey where how many NGOs are led by women and how many NGOs of disability have women on the board. It's an interesting thing, the thought of it before, but we get the results moving on. Unfortunately, women are not in power, and that's the sad part of it. But Section 4 of our Act speaks about it. And the RPTWD Act came in 2016, in December 2016, but it has been a culmination from 2009. The Committees Act 2010, and after that, they deliberated, discussing, different governments have changed, other provisions have changed. However, it's been a long ride for the disability sector. We have had a lot of discussion on this act. It's not the most perfect law, and no law will be perfect. And here, again, partial paper, you may not get a law that's perfect for you, but if the judiciary decides to read more into the law, and extends a little bit, just a wee bit, the law gets better and better. So for us, the Anti-Corruption Act, it was after 20 years, and after the convention came about, so it had to adhere to the convention. We have limited capacity, and that's the only major change of the convention. Where they have a full capacity and India signed that and ratified that, but in our own law we have given limited capacity. And the reason is that the situation in India is developing, and I'm sure we will do soon change that with time. What also happens in the RPWD Act is rights and entitlements. A woman with disabilities has the same rights as everybody else. She has right to education, right to justice, right to stand for elections, to be voted at elections, and to vote for somebody if she likes. And she gets the assistance that she needs at that time. Many, she has rights to stay in the community. Whenever I'm seeing a problem with women with disabilities trying to adopt children, it's a hell of a problem. And I can say with pride that, well, we are succeeding. So, though the system and the people in charge of the system are not so favorable, but it's working out. And I know a few cases where people have adopted, and even if the mother is disabled, it has been a success story. But it's taking time, it's a case by case basis. In India, everything goes case by case. So, community living is very important. Instead of shunning the person and putting them into institutions, but I realized this when I was in the pandemic. I lived in a building which bolted its gates, and then there was a problem, which is I couldn't get my things. But the building became a community, and somebody was ordering my non-veg, somebody was ordering my veg, and the whole building, not only for me particularly. It was being done as a consolidated effort, and the commune kind of formed out there. When we went out to get our vegetables, when the vegetable man came, went down and turned, yes, I was given a little privilege of saying, oh, your mom's old and you are disabled, why did you come down first? But I didn't take that privilege because we all got our turn, and there was enough vegetables for everybody. So it became a very comfortable environment. I didn't expect this to happen, and I was very scared when we suddenly closed doors because we had also prepared for it. So, but it worked out very well because everything else got sorted out at that time. There's also a case of which I saw in Times of India where a young lady needed to go to her a woman with disability needed to go and get her I think her calipers or her leg adjusted, and she didn't know how to go. So she tweeted, and the Bombay police sent the lady officer with a jeep with a driver to her, and she was able to go and get her work done and come back. So that's where the government, the appropriate authority needs to provide services. It's a very simple service, it's a very required service, and the girl would have been completely stuck had she not done. And she was in West at that time. So that's what the time should be done. But I think that's a very good example of how the society needs support, the government needs support. Subsequent to that, the other rights, right to justice, you go to the courts, that is the problem. Okay, there, women with disabilities, the higher courts are getting a little accessible, but it's difficult. So, very on the physical point of view, a lot of buildings are old. So it's very difficult to retrofit them. To retrofit them becomes difficult, but can be done. So what happens in most places is everything on the back entrance. I'm not enjoying that. I'm a person with disability. I don't want to go for the back entrance anywhere at any time. So somewhere I have got to be a back entrance person. I am equal. I pay my income tax equally. Why should I have a broken road? Why should I be taking my route? That is going to be before the judiciary sooner or later. There are cases of accessibility, but those are Kahami land provider. Land needs to be with a certain slope, and therefore that is before the judiciary at the present. But the fact that it's coming on the back entrance has now become a front entrance issue. So sooner or later you will see that in your lives. Okay? And as far as the other rights go, yes, we have all the rights. I have a right against abuse, violation, and exploitation. And you may not believe this, but a lot of women with disabilities do get exploited, and very badly so. Violence is it's not only beating you up, it's also not giving you khana, it's also taking away your calipers. It's also removing the chashma and hiding it suddenly. It's very funny, oh, I can't find my specs, I can't find my specs. But if it's missing, it's really, I can't go to work, I can't do my thing. How will I survive? So violence has to be fought in those senses also. Abuse is it's not so much of a direct abuse. But that also happens, but a lot of it is indirect abuse. And that's where the system has to stand for us. That is going to be hitting the judiciary a lot in the future. So we'll see that happening. Somewhere I've lost the slides, in RPWD, to have the right to the elections, etc., as I told you, but mainly your right to education, your right to employment, your right to land, your right to get a little concession in some places. UP has a concession on stamp duty for land acquired by a woman. Maharashtra does not have that. They had something very small brought in, but it was just tokenism and nothing of value. But for a while they had such laws which did help women. But again, these are women, not women with disabilities necessarily. But women with disabilities, in their own committees, their own advisory boards, etc., at least 50% of the members to be women with disabilities. But it's coming along. I mean, it's very, very rare that you see it, it's coming along. You can say it's a long change. If I move on RPWD for a minute to the other laws, the inheritance laws, that is very critical. Once you have inheritance, once your family accepts you, then that's the starting point. You have financial independence and therefore your legal rights can get protected. Okay? There are many, I was in Panchkali last weekend for an Agami conference. What happened there was this lady Nagatai, a little village in Maharashtra. Some of you may have heard the story, but it was quite, where her in-laws threw her out after her husband died, threw her two daughters out, and how she fought for her rights, her husband's property, etc. So even today, women, look at women with disabilities, and this is a woman with no education, but she fought and she managed to do and get. So inheritance is again a problem of the community you come from, the religion you come from. So Hindu woman, if she's a mother, a male, Hindu guy, if she's a mother, if she's a wife, she's a daughter, she gets equal. Okay? There is no problem, equal to the son. The father does not come in the class 1 X, but the mother does. So mother stay protected. Daughter-in-laws don't if the son is alive. Okay? Even son-in-laws have no right if the daughter is alive. So basically the women are okay on the first level. But a man, of course, can make his own will and he can decide that he doesn't want to give it to anybody but his dear son. So we can't do anything about it. Then of course there is Muslim law where the daughter gets half of what the brother gets. The wife gets 1/4 if she doesn't have a child, 1/8 if she gets a child, if she has a child, and the mother gets. So there is little but less and not equal. The 18th Succession Act, which covers Parsis, Christians, and Jews. Parsis have this thing also that the daughter got half, the law got changed in 1970. So now Parsi women get equal. Christian women do not, and Jews are okay. So, in a way, a uniform civil code can help and not help, but I'm not going to do that. Why I need to talk about this? The woman with disabilities needs to know her rights here. And this is tricky. Because if a father decides not to give her anything, then she's at the mercy of her brother or outsiders. So, that is where she needs to go. If I'm looking at the Indian Penal Code, a lot of people have dealt with rape, and molestation, and voyeurism, stalking, etc. All kinds of laws, there are a whole lot of sites which I will read for you later. But these also affect women with disability. Okay? And in fact, we get stuck a little more because it's a little difficult. We have to be more careful. The legal system helps us by taking evidence at home, our statement at home, not having to repeat it over and over again. And in case a person needs assistance, like see a person with hearing impairment needs an interpreter there. So that is being allowed by laws. And I'm watching this is also for men with disability, but it's happening. We are getting assistance, of course, now. But not on a regular basis, but we are getting across the country. And NGOs, etc. are supporting it. So as far as we're concerned, the Indian Penal Code is very clear. The situation gets worse at times. What really happens is a person with disability, a woman with disability does not want to disclose and does not know how to disclose. If she wants to disclose also, she does not know how to do it. And that's where you need a lot of support from the system. You need it from the police, you need it from your family first, the police later, the magistrate, the entire legal system. And at the end of the day, the confidence a woman has in herself. And that can be built up over the years. It doesn't come the last minute when you really need it. When we look at the redressal mechanisms under the Act, I'm sorry, which Act? RPWP Act, we have the Commissioner of Disabilities at the center and the state level. A lot of state level commissioners are dysfunctional. Try the center usually hearing matters within 3 months, do not hear it in 3 months. We don't have a chief commissioner of disabilities in the last 4 years. But somebody is doing the job and doing it. Okay. Things are happening, but happening very badly, very slowly. Sorry, the system has collapsed on us. I can't say more because there's nothing. It's happening slowly. I'm not saying it's not, but the Secretary of the government thinks that she's commissioner, so she will take judicial decisions. Okay. She's taking some decisions. It's not enough. A woman with disabilities is going to get stuck. So the first level, we look at commissioner of disabilities, then we have the police and the executive magistrate level for the abuse, violence, and etc. Then you are at the various, then you are basically in the criminal justice system. It's not different or within gender. It's the same for the disabilities. There's nothing extra for us. Okay, so the fact that our evidence will be taken at home. That is one, and engaging assistance. The second, the third is that, some kind of little bit of benefit is there, but very little. The fundamental problem here is that just to tap into the legal system is difficult. Okay? Um, Also, you have the special courts. Each state has been told to set up a special court for persons with disability and restrict them. Maharashtra is one man's fight. I don't know why they fight for something which is written in the law so clearly. But somebody fight because the system was being used by the hawkers, etc. So he had fight to get the state to declare the sessions courts as the district courts for disability special courts here. However, I don't know what has happened to the hearing of his matter, but it's difficult. Okay. A lot of states, even I think 9 or 10 states have already plus. Other states do not have even 4 years after. So that is there. Of course, the High Court and the Supreme Court. Their places can always go to. Difficult, happening. Legal system is working, it's still there. At least it's accessible. The High Court website, etc., are getting accessible. Every time you approach the please make your website better. And it does happen, but that's the only place where it really happens. Okay? So even the commissioner in Delhi, the chief commissioner of disabilities, their website is not accessible. So the system is there in front of you. I was asked about framework. I'll give you a framework. Does the frame work?
That is the million dollar question.
Yes, but see, unless you keep hitting it, unless you nail it, it won't work. Okay? So I will never lose faith in this, and I'll keep telling you that keep at it. It does work. Okay? I've had lovely judgments, and okay, I will go back to something that's very good. I always say talk about myself, and I'll tell you the fact that when we changed the rules for guidelines for writers, we wrote it outside the courtroom because that is what wanted to do. But today, I mean, that was in 2006 when there were hardly a law and hardly anything happening. But it changed. The banking regulations changed. Like God's the law changed. And just by hitting at it, because we kept sending complaints to the chief Permanent Manager Reserve Bank of India who fed up on us. Okay? So because we get hitting the system behind gave us a circular. The circular was provisionally impaired. Today it is extended to other disabilities and it has given us more facilities and more circulars. So today, what I'm saying is that don't worry about the working of the brain. Okay, it's a frame. We have to work around it, inside it, outside it. You see beautiful frames with lots of things around it also, right? So we use that. We go around it, we go inside it, we go touching it, but keep moving. Okay? So that is the thing. And I'm going to end here, I think. My last slide speaks of the legal profession. The rest of it is all the laws, sexual harassment, etc., which we will be dealing with. Okay? So I'm not going over it. I'm just telling you what the last thing. Ultimately, the justice, the legal justice is blindfolded, okay? So she has a disability or an ability not to recognize people who are distinguished people. She gives the same justice to everybody else. The legal profession, because I think I've veered into this for a minute because I just thought it's important to tell people that people with disabilities can do very well in this profession. Especially, things like drafting and the new world which is online most of the time. A lot of things can be done with disabilities. A lot. What is difficult is the attitude, such accessibility, attitude, all of it. Okay. The same problems that we face everywhere else, we face in the legal community. Legal community is a little more rigid than the outside world because we have our subcolors and our nouns. So we come from our old world, but the world has changed. And now you see benches of women sitting in the Supreme Court. You have a lot of judges. I'm not saying that there are not even 50%, but the fact is we have more than we had earlier, and it's a good. And at the lower judiciary, they will take a lot of magistrates, at least in Bombay, Maharashtra also, because they get transferred here and there. But it is a difficult profession for women with disabilities because of the accessibility issues. Okay, a lot of works on paper still, and we will have to be for the next photos on paper. But we will have to be on paper. There is no doubt about it. Why I put myself at the bottom of the picture is because not because I wanted to be there, but I tried to mock my face, but anyway. But because Raj had a very good run with the profession, and I got scared through the profession because the framework as it was scared me initially. Initially, I was low vision. And when I was low vision, I found it very difficult to communicate with judges because it was all ishara. It was all by, by the glances, by the frowns, etc. Later on, I gave up and I said, no, I'm going to do only test work, and that is the best for me. And honestly, that was really good. And then we moved on to computers, so it became better still. However, the nature that I have, I want to go back to court, and I went back to court. And I'm telling you today, children with disabilities, various children with disabilities, including visually impaired, of course, and then a lot of other issues, including hearing impairment, including some people with locomotor disabilities, with lots of pain conditions, etc., are in courts and are with disabilities practicing. So there is a fulfilling in that framework we have fitted in, and we are going to change that framework to suit that. So for all of you out here, thank you for having me, and okay, I'm happy to take questions. Don't ask me to take questions, but please I'll have to answer anything. I'm not a professor here, so I don't know my answers to them. Come.
Hello.
Yeah.
I am Pooja, research scholar from the National University of Gujarat. I have this question that you talked about Article 8. Right, so it says non-discrimination on ground of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. So it is quite obvious that there is discrimination against disabled people. So has anyone appealed to add disability within this Article 15, or is it just obvious? Because until things are explicit, it doesn't work well. So, like, because disability is a big part of discrimination, the discriminated population, what I feel is Article 15 should be amended. Has anybody appealed for it, or like, what is the status?
So when we were deliberating on the new law, see this new law that we got in 2016 was a law that was made after the CRPD, that after the convention for the right of persons with disability. So what happened here, and I'm going a little backwards, to say that it was a very participative process. So we had a committee sitting, and you, I don't know if any of you can remember, but in the past we had Sudha was speaking to you here at your at SME, and you know that very well. So she was the head of the committee, and a lot of persons with disability were on the committee. And it was all deliberated there, and also recommendations were made to the parliamentarians, to the government, to the law commission, etc. They haven't done this yet. We don't have a voice, frankly, at the right places. But we have a non-discrimination clause, a full section 3 in the RTW Act, which is a little better. But honestly, it gets a little diluted, and I'm sorry to put it like this because of Mr. Modi's Divya. We had the international praise for persons with disabilities was a disability. I don't mind 9, okay, because I am 9. It is distinguished me from a person with no vision, because I was a person with no vision. So it gives you the idea, usually you know how much it is. But with young, I have become a person of, spiritual or godly or whatever, or heavenly or divya, I mean, I've become something. So in a way, it dilutes the whole thing. But honestly, a lot of people with disability from the rural area, especially, and a lot of people from Bombay do not find that term divya. And to some extent, we have diluted our own case. So discrimination is now coming to the courts, discrimination against disability. Yes, they come to the courts, but a lot of discrimination happens really at home. Honestly, if we change our home, that would be the biggest thing, you know. You just sit in the corner, huh? Don't come to the way, so you fall down, no? Okay? Then I have a very dear friend who wears calipers. Mama, don't go to work today, you know, and hides the calipers. Okay? Now that's not fair, you know. That's not right. But that's what happening at home. And then at home, the thing is that, oh, you can't manage your finances. So why should you be inheriting? You know? So there, that's why my inheritance is very, very critical. You have to treat me with that respect at home before you will treat somebody at your office with that respect. Please understand that. So when we have these special sessions, once in a while chatting about it, it's great. But can we at home and see whether we can do anything about it, you know? Honestly. Because that is where it is. Discrimination is not a big thing. See, if you call me blind, it's done very peacefully. It is not done with malice. But a lot of discrimination is with malice. Okay? And that's the problem. So everybody has a line of tolerance, and we shouldn't be tolerating too much. But we can't go to court every time. I think one of us will.
Anyone else? Sorry, there's a question there.
Good afternoon. My name is Meena Swami and I belong to a legal community. Yesterday I discussed about a friend of mine whose daughter is Down syndrome, who's suffering with Down syndrome. And she's always worried that she doesn't want to disclose actually in the legal community that the daughter is actually suffering. But she's always worried about once they get retired, who will take, because the elder daughter is perfectly alright. She's not suffering with any genetic disorders, but younger ones. Yes. So she's always worried who will take care. Is there any law which can take care of her younger daughter throughout her life? Or she has to put her in some, some homes or something like that.
Yes, so see, the normal there is no law in that sense, but there is a law. See, for instance, most parents who have a child with an intellectual disability have started making arrangements. So there was this group called Parivar. They would meet in homes where parents would look after the children. There are other places like Mustan in Delhi, and there are few here as well, where people are, there's a lady from Spire College, she's running a home, she's starting a place. So there are places like that that we created, and a lot of parents are getting together and creating homes where parents will stay look after a group of children. And see, finances, I wish we could give it to the child, may not be able to, may be able to, depending on the severity of the problem. And somewhere or the other, the independence is lost, but somewhere or the other, we have to try to do as much as we can for parents. So if you give, supposing I had a sibling and my parents wanted to give me the money, but I could not handle it, then they would give it to my sibling and say, okay, please look after culture. And then it is really the siblings thing whether he does look after or doesn't look after, or he said, okay, you don't need a new dress, or you don't need new shoes, today you don't need medical treatment for your teeth, those kind of things. But those can be built into a trust, or the respect given siblings, that is the other child, or cousins, etc. But also, we always sure to check whether they want to look after, because it's a burden if they think so. It's not a burden if they do not think so. Be very careful of that. A lot of children are now surviving because of health, because better health now. 30, 40 years ago, a person with intellectual disability would be gone at age 14, 15, 16. But today I see a lot of people my age group, 40s, 50s, 60s, who have issues, mental, whether it is psychosocial issues or intellectual issues. And parents are worried. There is no question of that. And my dad was worried, even though I was a solicitor. He didn't have a problem worrying about my exams or anything. But when he passed on, he was very worried what Mrs. Somalia. Okay? And I don't blame him for it. But the lady died. One day before that, I just done a very big matter. And I got paid very handsomely for it. That's when he actually, I heard him read his eyes before he died. So please understand this, it's not only for an eye has done. So these are opportunities and things that happen. We're growing. We're better than the US in these things. Please understand this. We're not about institutionalization completely. We're looking at community living. I'm telling you the way we did during COVID, in my life community, it was better than academic. So please assure your friend, things are not so bad. But they have to go to the circulars and finding people and talking. And knowing more what's happening. Sitting at home and मेरा बच्चे को कौन संभालेगा, that is not. Need to know.
One final question from me. I just want to know if you could throw some light on the guardianship requirements or needs legally for adults with disabilities.
We have something called limited guardianship in the law. But honestly, really the problem is going to be more of senior people, more than that, more than our children with disabilities. Okay, those are going to class, etc. But today, the people who are functional, okay, who are not disabled today, they are getting older. And a lot of them are getting dementia, Alzheimer's, etc., Parkinson's, etc., cancer signs, need to be looked after by their kids, so the money is in their name, and they're all coming to board after this. So the laws are, unfortunately, they take a lot of time, unfortunately. A lot of people are getting strokes, and then comatose families don't have money to pay because money, a property and assets are in the name of that person alone. So I would first say please join your council for those trying to be a little aware of this. Also, giving your advanced directives. Because today you may not think that in 20 years you're going to have it. And you may not be able to do things. Okay? Today we are all alert. So on the guardianship question, you will need a guardian at that stage. That is going to be the disability sector's biggest bugbear in the future. Today you talk about children with intellectual disabilities who need a guardian. Yes, go through the process, get your guardian, and that's fine. But that is not the answer. I mean, that's not the only problem. This is all regulated and proper. Where the problem is going to be is ahead. Because everybody who's not disabled today may get a disability tomorrow. You will be very lucky to get before you reach the hospital. So that will be the best. But that may not happen. So all of us are going to face this issue. Today, I have one disability, which is blindness. If I can sign my own checks, I can't. Okay? So it gets done online. If I'm online, if it's not accessible, then I have to get my secretary. Already my financial powers, only decision-making powers in my hand, but not the physical power. Right? Later on, if my mind goes haywire, then what? Somebody will make the decision for me. I don't have a sibling also. I won't have a parent by that time. So, what comes next? I have to start trusting people, start putting people in place. My next generation. Just like we have next generation for NGOs to look after the head. So guardianship is a very big issue now. It's like everybody says we have full capacity. I agree we have full capacity, but do we have full capacity in the future? We not. Okay, we not. So it's and it's evolving. What you're asking me is an evolving science right now. Slowly. See, we had a national class with guardianship and a local community, etc. But it's now all evolving right now. So I believe that it's all evolving. It's just slowly working out. People are seeing the situation like the Down syndrome case, a lot of cases like that. A lot of parents are getting one. So it's evolving. But calls are listening to this right now.
One more question. This is Sharda here from Population First, and it was amazing listening to you. I just, when you were talking about not having a voice in the parliament, I was just checking on the internet to see how many parliament members are people with disability, and I couldn't get any answer on the Google. So I was trying, people with disability in
parliament, number of people with disability in parliament, I typed, and I didn't get any answer, so I want to know.
I'll answer that paper in a minute because there was this gentleman called Jayapal Reddy. He had been a minister. He's a big case, okay? He's a so you won't ever find his name when saying visibility, okay? But he was disabled, okay? He had been carried into Vigyan Bhavan. So let me tell you, here I got my national award 2009, okay? So there was on the 30th of November, there was this practice session in Vigyan Bhavan. So they put up the ramps, etc., for people with disabilities to take over, practice so that we take it properly from the president of India, okay, on the correct day. Next day, Jayapal Reddy was there for some event. He was a minister at that time. His wheelchair had been carried in, and I know because somebody was attending that function. One of my friends who worked with us before. She was at that event. She said, Kanchu, was it accessible? I said, yes, everything was there. I was put up and everything was there. She said, oh, they dismantled the ramp the next day. And that's Vigyan Bhavan. And that's Mr. Jayapal Reddy refusing to say that he's disabled. There you go, So when you tell me there's nobody with disability, I beg your pardon. You have a lot of people can't climb the steps. So many have died on this Padyatra because they're not fit. They have disabilities in their own way, they're breathing with disability. There are people who can barely hear, they wear hearing aids. Okay? They don't want to hear, that's a different matter. I'm not going to that. Okay? But actually, you're right. You will never find a person saying I'm disabled. Because even President Roosevelt was in a wheelchair, he covered himself and he was not photographed down. Okay? So you will not find people, it's like a stigma in this country. And unfortunately, that is the position we are at. But the thing is that we have tried, that two people quota from the Anglo-Indian community, we tried for that part. Okay? But actually, if you look, everybody in that room has some disability or the other. Actually. But कोई बोलेगा नहीं I will not say that I'm disabled. Really, there are बहुत लोग हैं with delegates. So many people, people say the judges are very thin chashma. If I get that measured, they will not be 40% blind, but will be 20% blind or 30% blind. The thin chashma. Sorry?
Now I say if you have 20%, he can get the health that certificate.
Yes. So will he go and get the certificate? No, he doesn't want the APU certificate.
See, so on that only note, I just wanted to add one more thing. In our acts and all, we have the leprosy cured person. Am I right? Yes. There was a question in the parliament that something should be done about their dependents because we are also talking about the scheme and all. And when I was making the study for Government of India, I said I won't talk about higher education, let me start from school. And you will be surprised. Many of these dependents, they are leading a life of hiding. The children, they go to the orphanages in Delhi government, they study there because they don't ask the address. So their discrimination being from the family of leprosy cured. This is one point I wanted to say, that sometimes intentions are good, but regulations, why they get implemented and not implemented, these are also the choices that people make against it. The second thing, madam, I wanted to add was that nowadays we are talking about the people, the organizations to be sensitive about this legal framework, that our own employees, colleagues and all, they are not. In the UGC when we work on that, till date no action has started. And another part is, same organization have rules, regulations for women and others under SC, ST, OBC. Disability is also mentioned within that larger group, but it is not mentioned in the main regulation. So when women hostels are constructed, the women with disability don't get opportunity. So what I'm just trying to tell everyone to madam's session is that is why I don't say it is very, very important. Many of us who want certain things, we need to speak out as a part of administration advocacy or whatever role they may decide, then only we may have answers which will be just that was what I wanted. Thank you, ma'am.
So your question on, it was not really question on legacy, though, okay? On legacy of your. So there are two things here now. It is very ironic, in fact. In legacy cure, what we are finding when we work with the legacy sector is that a lot of people are insecure now, and the children do not have it. Okay? They want the benefits, but now I'm nine, if I have a spouse and my child is online, then the child is not going to get any benefit. Okay? There is no, even that child has stigma as a disadvantage because it's born to black parents. Okay? They don't get it. Yes, that is a little. See, earlier days, see, colonies were there. So colonies children were stigmatized, etc. But they're okay now. Leprosy has now moved to the higher classes. Especially in the, now doctors do not recognize it so much because they have not studied it in so much detail. So leprosy is now we see it coming back in big force. And there's going to be a big issue here because it's going to be at a different level. The people who are getting affected by leprosy are not going to move to colonies. They're going to get home. Luckily, there is medication. But there's going to be those issues again. There's going to be a whole lot of issues again. So different, like, see, when I was very young, people were, children were born with blindness. Today, there are less children born with blindness at birth, blind at birth. Now what you see is a lot of children with multiple disabilities. You won't find pure blind children so much. Because the A vitamin deficiency is gone, and smallpox is gone, and quite a few other things are gone. But you will find deficiencies, and you will find disabilities. The system has to cope with this new problem. This new leprosy thing, being at the fancy doctors, the fancy, they're not going to go to the leprosy hospital, which has seen this type of virus. We have a problem there. We're going to now go through a phase there. See, as far as the thing about advocacy is concerned, for each of you is here, everybody has one issue that is a pet issue. Okay? Pick it up. Just pick up at one issue and hammer at it. And get the people in the room here, your friend circle, your family, your social networks, to support it. Nothing has not worked in this country. Everything works in this country. It works better in this country than it works in any other country. You take an issue, you feel strongly about it, pick it up, and go for it. And I'm telling you, the success is in your hand. So the Indian legal framework does exist and works. So the frame is working.
Slowly and steadily.
Slowly and steadily and fast sometimes. I'm telling you, I've changed so many things quickly. I've changed quite quickly also. Okay. So we have changed, we have done a lot of stuff. So whatever you say is law, there is a law articulability, it is not a bad law. There is a law. You can push it, you can make it work. But you have to write, you have to talk about it, you have to feel about it. Why did you not even work enough for you? I'm nearly an hour and a half away from you on a working day. I'm here because I'm pushing an issue. I want you to join the advocacy movement. I want you to do something about it. Each of you here is educated and therefore has somewhere is working you somewhere. Push that legal system to make a difference.
Thank you. Up close and eye-opening perspective to the legalities related to persons with disabilities. We now segue into the next session on the role of media and perception of disability by Dr. Neil Sharda. we take out the transmission using the
Good morning. My wish is to introduce Dr. A.S. Sharma today. Dr. Sharma is active in the development sector for the last 32 years as a teacher, researcher, trainer, and program manager. She is the director of Population First for the last 15 years. She had the opportunity to work with international agencies like UNICEF, UNFPA, and other non-government organizations as a consultant. She was on the faculty of the Central University of Hyderabad and Indian Institute of Health Management Research, Jaipur. She was invited by the State Department of US to represent India under the International Visitor Leadership Program on role of NGOs in global gender issues. She is special invitee to State Supervisory Board on PCT Act and a member of the committee constituted to suggest amendments to NPP Act. She has been reviewing ads in Campaign Indian magazine as gender expert for the last couple of years. She was on the jury of Abby Award for Gender Sensitivity and was a member of the advisory committee for the New Vision Fellowship for Script Writers. It's indeed an honor and a great pleasure to have you here, ma'am. Thank you.
I request, Professor John Khan to take us through the statement.
See how you can
मैडम जी आपके साथ इसी को टेबल पे सजा दो आपके साथ इस तरह नहीं होता you wrote your calendar on your desk.
Yes, of course, with my name, I can't.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's so much said in the last yesterday and today, and I know everything is very, very intense, very in-depth, and it touched upon so many issues, right? But my presentation is going to be very different, and I'm not going to talk about the issues as much as how media deals with disability. Because we are such avid consumers of media, right? We are all the time watching advertisements, we are all the time watching movies, and we are seeing images all around us, and then so much of our thinking gets influenced by the media that is around us. So it's going to be a little lighter than the other sessions because we are looking at media. And let me tell you something that while I have gone and checked for advertisement featuring disabled people for the last 5 years, and that was on 35 advertisements, and I've tried to analyze how to they categorize them, what we say about disability. The part on films is how films depict media is taken straight from the internet. So there's no my personal contribution in that. But I would like to start by saying that media is a very, very powerful tool, right? Because it reaches to millions of people. Can you think of how many people a serial reaches? Okay? How many people does an ad reach? In millions, and on a regular basis, right? The ad is repeated. Whether I'm watching Bhakti TV or Fashion TV, doesn't matter. I still end up watching the advertisements, right? I have no option. Unlike a film, I have the choice. I don't want to watch the film, I don't watch. I don't want to pay the ticket, I don't pay it. I have a choice of watching or not watching. But not the case with advertisements. They are there all over the place, all the time. And that is the reason why media plays such an important role. And as people engaged in advocacy, we have to partner with media. For instance, if you look at gender, what does the media tell you about women? What does advertisements tell you about women? How should a woman look? Tell me. She should be fair. First and foremost, she should be fair. Homely. Yeah. Long hair. So you have a certain image of the woman. How many of us fall into that category? मैंने तो बहुत तक देखा है. Now you are not have a great hair or foundation. So it actually gives certain stereotypes, right? And how are women shown working? They are always shown where? At home, kitchen, as if their life depends on pleasing their husband with good cooking. Right? And the husband says, is it from the neighbor's house when she cooks well? Right? Undermining her value at every level. And then when you show women who are working, which professions you show them generally as a doctor. And she's a doctor, but she's so worried about a small germ on the floor. And she doesn't know that the resistance of the child grows when they're exposed to more dirt and some basic exposure is required. And why do you think who cleans the toilet in advertisements? Girls. And who tells them to keep the toilet clean? So we have a man telling the woman you better clean the toilet. Though he uses it. It causes stress also. For stress also. So when we are talking about gender, for me the biggest partner is the media. Right? Because they are the ones who actually reinforce the stereotypes, reinforce the tropes, then they are also making us or telling us how to be a good woman, how to be a good man. So you have Salman Khan sitting over the water, picking up bottles, Coca-Cola bottles, jumping on a motorcycle from a truck. This is possible, but macho images. You have cricket promotion with macho men's aggression unnecessarily, right? So you have this whole thing about media, which is very important. I feel even for disability, it's very important to see how disability is projected in media. Do you remember one ad which shows a person with disability in it? Did you see any ad which shows a person with disability? Which is a popular ad?
The dog ad has women who do not fit the stereotypes.
No, I'm talking of disability.
Oh, so Marathon, Colgate. Colgate Marathon.
Colgate Marathon adverts. So it is a marathon, so they show the thing. But generally, do you find the way we don't find black people like us in advertising, we don't find people with disability in advertising. Just like that, crossing the road, when you have a scene of a street, do you show somebody on a wheelchair, using a wheelchair, or using a stick? No. Or when you're showing an office scene, do you show a person with disability being part of the ecosystem? I don't want pictures, advertisements on disability, people with disability, sorry, driving people with disability. But they should be there. If you are showing a picture like this, there must be somebody who is using a hearing aid or somebody who is wearing glasses or who is not able to see or somebody using a wheelchair. They're part of the society. And I like to share with you that I went to US, I found so many people with disability on the street. They come to museums, you have so many of them coming on the wheelchairs, and then people who cannot see, like they are visible in public spaces. Where do I find people on wheelchairs or people with
streets of Mumbai, how many of them I see in public spaces?
Beggars.
Beggars. They're the ones who have some disability and they are there. Otherwise, common people who are leading normal lives, do we find them on the streets? Do we find them in our messaging, in our communication? That is what I wanted to focus today. So let's start with the presentation. So basically, as I have said, it perpetuates stigma, stereotypes, and fears related to disability. You know, बहुत सारे ऐसे चीजें बताता है कि जो स्टिग्मा सफर करते हैं, they feel low about themselves. There is a lot of negative portrayals of the people with disability, and also it also has the potential to create widespread awareness. Right? If you give the right message, you can create a lot of awareness about disability among people. Okay, so it has a negative side and then there is a positive side. And it also can acquaint us with the lives of the disabled. Because I don't know how a foot and mouth artist leads a life. How a person with who is totally visually impaired, how does she lead her life?
I'm not going to catch her. I try to protect her. I don't know because I find it very uncomfortable.
Right? I don't know how she leads her life, how comfortable she is. So I get extra protective or extra, supportive, which they may not like. Like Amita ji suggested. Everybody thinks it is their right to touch my shoulders. It's not done in any bad intention because I think that she cannot handle the wheelchair. Because I don't know that she can handle the wheelchair, right? So there is a need to realistically acquaint us with the lives of the disabled. That media can do very well. For instance, when we did a consultation with Sony TV for their one of the serials, which was on Hearing with Great Person, and we called Sujata ji, we called others, and then we looked at the thing, how it was projected, and then, most of the time, the person was shown in the family context, but he was not shown interacting with other people with similar disability, and the whole thing was as if this there in the family and this having issues, protection, support, etc. So this is the wrong way of protecting the lives of the disabled people. So these are the three ways media can help us, not perpetuating stereotypes, creating widespread awareness about different types of disability, like ma'am suggested. She said I can hardly identify with disabilities, but there are 21 disabilities which are identified. So there is a need to create awareness about it, and also to realistically acquaint us with the lives of the people with disabilities. Okay, next. So let's go through some of the films. I know none of you have all, except Lee Schneider and I. When these films were popular. So, okay. So we have, disability assessment. This comes regularly in general conversation also. Like in Telugu, we have it. Whenever somebody makes a mistake, they that means, don't say this, you will lose your eyesight. Isn't it? So that is the kind of thing. So something wrong you do, then you are punished by disability. So we have this Hanuman movie where he is punished for his very a life which is very badly spent. And disability is worse than death. The way rape is worse than death. Zinda lash, when we say a person who is raped, so there are certain things which are so bad that it is worse than death. So there is this very interesting interpretation that in Sholay, when Thakur finally gets an opportunity to kill, Gabbar Singh, he doesn't kill him, he just snatches his hands. So it is worse than being dead, right? So there is this whole concept of disability being worse than death. You better die than be disabled. Right? So this kind of a thing is really very, very bad. And then, of course, lot of sympathy songs which are, written about them, and then you feel hope for them, that you have that pity for them. Comic relief, the whole Golmaal film is about that fellow who struggles with them, right? You saw Golmaal too? How many of you have seen? Going. So the whole film, the comic relief is totally because of the man, that boy who struggles, right? Struggles. So that is something which is very, very common in films. Most of the times, particularly the creative way, are used for comic relief. Because you say something, they understand something, they answer something, so they find it very funny. You can write very comic script using the, hearing impaired people. And then there is dependency, that in the two people with disability who become friends and support each other. Then villains. We have Shakuni and Manthara. Shakuni is responsible, the villain of Mahabharata, Manthara is the villain of this. And you also have one like Lalita Hawa, and you have Pran on crutches. You have people with disability as bad omens, they're seen as, basically villains also. Either this or that. Next. Caricaturing, particularly the hearing aid, right? You all have seen Sarabhai versus Sarabhai? Yes. What is that man's name who is hearing impaired? Sorry? Madhu Bhupa. So much fun, the whole serial we laughed at it, right? So, the total caricature. So this is so common in serials in many of the visual media. And then Divyanjan, they have extra knowledge, extra senses, and they can do something amazing, that kind of a thing. So we have arcade, people that, things using their extra sensory perception. So you have that. And as Anita Ji told yesterday, it is something wrong, it has to be said. So the heroine who is blind and going and talking and singing romantic songs with the hero. Suddenly gets accepted when she gets her eyes operated and she can see it. See, at the end of the film, she gets her eyes out, right? So it is something that has to be set right, and there is more acceptance of the person once the disability is removed. And I have to see this serial where I'm told that a person who stammers and faces a lot of problems in life, he falls in love, and he holds the hands of his lover, and his stammering stops. I would like to say a lot of people who stammer to that. Right? It is such an unscientific way of, conveying something. And as Anita Ji said, essentially, in Indian television, most of the time people are asexual, but yeah, when it comes to disabled people, they are more asexual than the others. Next. So some realistic presentations we have seen in the movie Koshish. How many of you have seen Koshish? Yeah, you all must see that movie. These three movies are really very good. So, yeah, Sparsh. But I request all of you to watch these movies. Sparsh, Koshish, and of course you must have seen Margaret on this one. On radio action, I did some exercises with this. Yeah. But all of you, please make it a point to watch these movies because they are really, really very good because they talk about the lives of people with disability and highlight some major, major issues. They don't romanticize, they don't glamorize the people with disability. It is a very realistic portrait of people with disability. Next. Of course, you have seen Pa. Yeah? How many have seen Pa? Nice, I got one nice. Kalees and people? Good. So, My eyes are healing, I haven't seen such, yeah. So these are the movies which have actually specifically talked about some issues and created widespread awareness about those particular disabilities and issues in the public. The fact that all of you have seen it shows that the message has gone. The dyslexia is there, Progena is there. Like you know it now. Earlier we didn't even know that there's something like dyslexia or whatever it is. So a good commercial movie can create widespread awareness about issues. We cannot ignore the power of media films because they can make a big difference. So these are the three films I have just, there are many, but I have picked up these things. Next. For instance, Alexander, as you all know, dyslexia, created a lot of awareness. The report of secondary school has given extra time to the children with dyslexia to write the exams, you know. And they have created a lot of, not just create awareness, but it also led to some action, which made the lives of the people better. Okay. Similarly, we have my Aisani, where a lot of discussion happened on the language to be used for the mentally challenged people. And this has actually been taken into consideration while drafting the, you know, the policy on disability. And Sparsh actually led a lot of conversation and it led to the establishment of central domain press in there. So when you have a good big film and which addresses issues, it can lead to action. Recently, one of our fellows has written an article on toilets in one particular area, and the court has taken some more cognizance of that article, and they have directed the toilets in the government schools, girls' government schools, and the court has directed the state government to provide toilets. It's a small article, but if it is written well and if it makes an impact, it can make change. It can create a lot of difference to the people who are who have disabilities. Okay. Next. So as I said, advertising is very, very important and it is very subtle ways it conveys a lot. I was thinking that I will get many insensitive ads, but I am surprised that the ads were quite good, you know. And maybe because they are made for special occasions and then they are made, you know, to promote the brand values of the corporates as inclusive organizations. So there is a lot more thought that has gone into it. There is, I haven't found any frivolous ad which made fun of the people with disabilities. So let's look at it. And this include both images and digital ads. Next. So I have looked at the films and I found that they fall into these categories. One is the message is if they can do it, why can't you? There is I find it problematic because they are saying that oh, all of person is a unique person. So there is a certain you know, yeah, show them as somebody lesser than you, right? So that is there. There are quite a few acts which have that with good intention. But yeah, the underlying message is not so very comfortable. Then there are a lot of companies which promote disability friendly products and services. So there are ads which promote those products, whether it is easy to open burger package for people who are, you know, not upper disability. And something like that. And then we have special disability day, special day films, disability day, or Mother's Day, or Valentine's Day, and where they are talking about, you know, disability. And then role models and NGOs is also big promoting the products and everything. And there are some empowering images. How to show women, I mean, the people with disabilities in families and connections, and how to invest and interact with people with disability. these are some of the themes broadly under which we can base all the acts that I have read. Next, please. So the first thing is if they come, sorry, I use this. So this is, if they can, why can't they? So here we have many ads, but I have taken 4 ads. One is the Saplan ad, which I will be showing you. And then there is this, Tinkesh Kaushik, bodybuilder, who is a triple amputee. And then he is making his body. So Twitter is a fitness app. And then they say that if he can build the body, why can't he? Okay. Then there is a Vivo Service Center that also has this doctor who uses wheelchair and remotely provides services to some villagers. So then when she says thank you for providing services, she says, so intention I don't think is bad, but the way it comes out is not so very good. And then there is this ad about organ donation, and there also the person, visually impaired person says that I'm going for the organ donation, then they say that the super says that if he can do it, why can't do it? So this is the theme, and there are some more ads, but I would like to play one ad. When I'm playing the ads, I will say.
हाय, मैं स्वप्ना। बचपन से मुझे पेंटिंग करना बहुत अच्छा लगता था। मेरी पेंटिंग्स को देखकर लोग मेरी हमेशा तारीफ करते हैं। दोस्त भी मेरा जन्मदिन में बहुत स्पेशल है। शायद आप में से कई लोगों से मैं बेटर नहीं है, पर उसके अलावा मैं बिल्कुल आप जैसी हूँ। मेरी सुबह भी शुरू होती है अलार्म क्लॉक के चलाने से। आप जैसी मैं भी उठ के वापस थोड़ी देर सो जाती हूँ। चाय के बिना मेरा दिन भी शुरू नहीं होता। दोस्तों से बातें करती हूँ। मुझे भी तैयार होने में थोड़ा वक्त लगता है। ऑनलाइन लर्निंग की आदत आजकल मुझे भी लग गई है। और उम्मीद को आपके जैसे मैं भी कभी नाम नहीं कह सकती। हाँ, पर एक बात है जो शायद आप में से बहुत लोग नहीं करते, पर मैं हमेशा करती हूँ। मैं हैंड वॉश इस्तेमाल करना नहीं भूलती। 20 सेकंड हैंड वॉश करने से यूज से प्रोटेक्टेड फ्रॉम जर्म्स एंड डिजीज कोरोना वायरस जैसी बीमारियों से। और मेरे में हैंड वॉश इस्तेमाल करना इतना नहीं भूलूं, तो फिर आप क्यों नहीं करते हैंड वॉश?
I really consider this as a brilliant act. Otherwise, we never get to know what it is to be, a hand and mouse asking for somebody with no hands, like, how hands will be. It's such a beautiful act.
तो यार बस नहीं, वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए रजिस्ट्रेशन वाला क्या है ना, वही यार क्या मैं तो वहाँ जा रहा है वो तो आपने देखा था। हाँ मैं तो ऑफिस में यही बात कर रहा हूँ। मैं तो तुम्हें कर सकता हूँ। अच्छा यार चलो
और हमें सफल की सिखाने से ये थोड़ी नहीं मिसेंगे सबके पास
strong. I couldn't see either.
Yeah. So, this ad once again, it looks very contract in the sense this genuineness is not there. I think they have taken a regular person to play the role of, person with blindness. So, but yeah, this is the trend, they can do it, why can't you? They can do, why can't you? So there is kind of motivating in a wrong way, in this sense. So we have a lot of ads.
I have only taken 4-5 for demonstration purpose. Yeah, next please.
So promotion of disability related products, there are a lot of ads.
Like for instance, on the occasion of Rakhi,
Cadbury's has come up with the their CSR project where they did prosthetic limbs with hands which are sensory, what we call enhanced. So they would feel the. So they have developed that to say that the boy should feel the touch of the Rakhi. And then they have done it. It's a nice ad in that sense. And McDonald's has a lot of ads for further packing. So they have a packing for people who are not having hands. I mean, if I'm wrong, we didn't say it. All this correctly. So they have some different kind of a pack which they can use so that the burger can be had with one hand or with no hands also with prosthetic limbs. And then there is this India Enabled, the big campaign of India, and then they had then corporate films of KFC are really very good. You start KFC and you have amazing films of KFC for their inclusion, employing people with disability, and they have also had a pay when all the customers were asked only to use sign language, so all they have done a lot of things for inclusion as part of their organizational, agenda and to promote inclusiveness in organization. And then Google's photos, as usual, Google always are very recognized. Recently, had given an award because they spoke about how Google helps you get information about women and how they can access different types of information about education programs about women hostels, etc., etc. So in this advertisement also they do the same thing. They have a person who gets his vision back, and then the family starts introducing the other family members using the Google photos. So it's a nice ad.
I have picked up the India Enabled ad to
Show you. Thanks, sir.
Life is waiting for you. Look at I you do. When I had to you can do. When I had to you can do. It's a lie, it's a game of life. So today, I'm gonna feel so long. You're not and all you can do. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for you. I've been waiting for you.
But I cannot understand why can't they have people with disabilities take the role of main characters or something. We can very, we can see that they are like the people trying to act black or something. So there is, but otherwise, the film shows people with disability exploring the world, be look different from the others. That's the
Most important thing, it's not that,
oh, you are doing something.
you are being different.
So,
This is something,
like I liked about the ad is that it can be anybody. It can be a person with disability or it can be a person without. But the way they portrayed it is very nice. And that is how we should look at people with disability. Not as a separate category, feeling bad, sad, patronizing,
not that way.
So we really need to have more communication like this in the public domain. So this is something, that's why I wanted to show this in Law Brothers.
And this,
Special occasion acts, we have many of them, and they use the main protagonist as a person with disability. And we have one Joy Anuka's ads where the bride is a wheelchair user, and then she loves Kajol and all things. So that. Yeah.
this one is that, right?
She wants her to be, she is her heroine and she, her desire is to have her at her wedding. And typical young girl dreams, of having their heroine come and then somebody in her family arranges her to come for the wedding and that's an effective that she gets a huge Joy Alucard's necklace as a gift. So next time I'm thinking of calling her over. I mean, not a small one, it's a big choker. So that is the whole idea of the movie. But then they show a young girl, like any other girl.
Then there is another thing.
Stories. Here again, you have this man feeling very apprehensive, sitting in front of the mirror and looking at himself and his best friend and the best man teasing him. He says, I'm feeling very apprehensive, I'm feeling very this thing, and they have a nice banter. And at the end of the film, they realize that he's a big, So, those kinds of things also are shown. And the best I feel is the Zomato ads. It is so cute and it is so very, it is for Valentine's Day. So whenever we think of Valentine's Day, we think of blue, very able-bodied boy, romancing and all that. But it is equally romantic, this ad. It is so very well done, So let's have a look. Next.
Ma'am, order.
Thank you, ma'am.
मैम आपसे मिलने कोई आया है?
Hi, can I help you? I'm Kira, that's Johan. You're a chef, right?
Yeah, I'm a chef.
Hi, we want to sit here. Take it over. मैं कुछ नहीं बहुत कुछ लिखना चाहता हूँ मैं बहुत बोलता हूँ पर
पर बात जब प्रिया को बताने की आई लाइक तो फिर मुझे प्रिया की कमजोरी के बारे में पता चला। जो मेरी भी है। मैंने सोचा कि आप शराब को इन्वेस्ट करने का रास्ता मिल गया। तब मैंने एक हेल्दी डिश ऑर्डर की। पहले पास from your cafe. It was the first bite. I shared that. And that's when I told her. That's how I figured out. Thank you so much. It's an awesome part of the life. Thank you. Pasta pasta here, right?
How do you like this, right? Why do you like this item? Why do you like? I know you like it. It's very nice. But
The girl has accepted this board.
why should the boy has accepted the girl? No? Again, we are saying the girl has done a favor by accepting the girl.
Communication is excellent.
Huh?
Communication is excellent.
Communication is excellent.
And there is no discrimination, as in, she is able-bodied and he is with disability. There is no discrimination. It is as good as any other, lovey couple. It is shown like that. So it is as normal as it could be. That's why I think it is appealing.
But initially she had lifted her eyebrow also when he started expressing it. It's a better sign language.
Yeah.
The girl was more accepting than the person. The acceptance was clearly there.
Okay. They're comfortable with each other, irrespective of how able and how disabled they are. And that is more of a question of communication rather than, I think,
Acceptance is a very patronizing thing. I accept you.
but then, it is a lot more communication happening between them and openness and then, there's a lot of other things which are in the relationship. And it's nice because I'm sure many people with disabilities find wonderful partners, and they're as much capable, they're capable of as much romantic engagement as any other person. So there's nothing that we have to say, oh, in spite of being a disabled person, he's so romantic. That's not, he's a romantic person. He's a disability, right? That's the thing. He's a romantic person, he's a caring person, or he's an ambitious person. But ambitious person who is disabled, not bad, who is disabled. So we have to change the shift in our own thinking when we are looking for talking about people with disabilities. It's very difficult because we say this more acceptance, but he is disabled. Like we somehow make it look that what that person is doing is much more than what any person does. No, it's the same romance, it is the same attraction, it is the same kind of chemistry between the two, right? Okay, next please. Then we have a lot of acts with role models, So we have this, Janvik Kaur, who is an amputee, who becomes a role model for any child. You must have seen it. It's a recent ad, the mother and father take the child in every trade, athletic competition, and the boy sees this child in the road, and then he feels very excited, suddenly he has a role model. in the form of the entry. And similarly, we have, I couldn't get her name, but the one who worked for, this thing, buses, I could get her name. So many beautiful ad made about her, but for a product, let's be very clear. And then, this Garba Nirani, who is a visually impaired person, and is the first one to win a cycling championship. I mean, he's visually impaired, but he won the first cycling championship, championship. So there is this very interesting story about how he has done it, how his family has supported him, etc. Okay, so let's go and watch this movie. Yeah. I still remember vividly those days in school. I would be sitting on the bench all the time till somebody came and fetched me. I didn't even go to the washroom. All this left me very frustrated and got home at that place. And he reiterated life and patience. He said to me, "You, if you want to have something you never had, you go ahead and do what you have never done." And that's what I have done ever since. No doubt it was a matter task to convince a DESP to come up with more buttons, but at the end, it paid off well. The victory with DESP Logo buttons was like a motivation to me. It was time for me to move on and pick up a new challenge. And in 2013, it came in the form of the Miss Future India Beauty Family. And that was the best platform for me to tell the world, hey, we have arrived. My motivating invitation could not stop me from traveling 19,000 kilometers across India by road in just 8 days. I believe in life. Beauty is constantly making me do away. And that holds true, not only for my life, but for the world as well. I love experimenting. This time, I'm really excited to have used the Timber texture from Royale Day 2015 new collection. So now, it is time for you to share a story. How have you made room for me? Share your story in Q9 on Facebook and Twitter, and guess what? You may turn the chance to win a beautiful makeover for your wall. So, why do you think we need advertisements like this? What is it? Give me 3 reasons why we need this kind of advertisements.
Inspiring.
Inspiring to?
Normalize the things.
Okay.
It's okay to have desires.
Okay.
Encourage
Encourage
people.
people with disabilities to look forward to life, in positive, right, rather than because there is so much of negativity, see these kinds of movies gives them the inspiration that I'm like anybody else and I can do whatever I want in life. It gives inspirations to the parents of the children who also can look forward to a bright future for their children. And finally, it helps people who are not, suffering or who are not having a disability or taking care of a person with disability, but people who are in the margins like us who are not really aware of or exposed to that to know that yes, it is, it is, it is disadvantaged, persons with disability are no different from people without disabilities. So we also get sensitized to the whole concept of disability and how people cope with the disability, etc. Yeah, next. Then there are some empowering images and like they are excelling in sports, the marathon, advertising, where then human interest stories, success stories, a lot of those on the advertisement. So let's look at one reality bags. This is a very popular ad, I'm sure you all have seen it.
मैंने सुनी ना मेरी भेज रहे हो उसे तुरंत कैसे करेगी मेरी बुढ़िया
आगे के समय में ये थोड़ी है कि दुनिया नहीं दिखूंगी क्यों गाली
Okay. So it's also like, a girl enjoying life like any other girl. So, and that is something which is really very, very important to reinforce again and again, it has to be done, really done. We start accepting, here I'm using the word accepting very consciously. They right to be wherever they want to. They right to do whatever they want to. I'm not saying accepting their disability. I'm saying they right to be wherever they want to. They right to do whatever they want to do. So this is something, these kinds of advertisements are very, very, communication is very, very. And then there are a lot of ads which show people with disabilities as part of the family, how does the family treat, how do we interact with friends and family. And this is something really, really interesting because it's, I think what ad should be like that, where when you're showing a family, you should be able to show a person in a wheelchair or a person who's visually impaired or any other kind of disability. They should be part of your family because many families have people with disability, but we ideally show a very healthy, happy family, right? We don't healthy, happy in the sense that everybody is able-bodied, they're all always very happy. And, that kind of ideal families what we show. These families are different kinds. There are families with people with disabilities. There are families with, older people. There are families with a lot of varieties of families are there. And there are families which are only having women. There are families which don't have men, women. But we always have one dada, dadi, mother and father, and children, grandchildren. The typical joint family kind of visit. So how do we show people in family context? That's the next thing. And so Pude as a blind man, I wish I could show all this, but that will take 2 hours. So there is a Pude ad which is very good, and the KFC once again shows friendship at the basis of a relationship between two people, one with disability, one without. And then there is a very beautiful ad of stammering, stand-up comedian for Nescafe. So you can see those. I will share the links with you. And but there is this Alexa features people with disabilities as part of families. It's very inclusive and does not single them out. It's done very nicely. So let's have it.
It's like to do with resources and go down to you. तो किसी ने मालूम की हलचल पड़ी।
Alexa, what do you want to do?
The Indian stock market is actually on 0.2%. किसी ने कर दिया सुर्खियों से नाता। कहीं से उसे महफिल से शक्ति। कि अगली सी रोशनी, सिर्फ अगली जुबे से। दबाव का वक्त हो गया है। किसी की छूटी भूलने की आदत। Alexa, count everything right now. Mount Everest की ऊंचाई समुद्री सतह से 8,850 मीटर है। किसी ने वाकई दुनिया की रोशनी। Alexa, follow the first फिर से हुआ किसी का अपनों से राबता। तो किसी को छुपकर ऐसी हंसी न गई।
Yeah. So it's nice. I mean, I feel you can differ from me and then say no, if you don't like it for any reason. Or if you have any comments and inputs, you're most welcome. But I feel that they show the family, they don't segregate or they don't make your people with disability look different from any other family member. So they're as much that shows in a very equal fashion in the family. Next please. This is also a short ad, but I love this ad.
बाकी दोस्तों के साथ पिक्चर देखने की नहीं है क्यों मैं तेरे साथ यहाँ बैठा हूँ करता है तो उनके साथ इंजॉय करता हूँ मैं तो बात भी नहीं करता तो इतनी देर से कौन मतलब कर रहा है
दोस्त पैदा होते हैं फ्रेंडशिप उतनी ही कमाल की होती है ऐसी दोस्ती के लिए KFC का नया फ्रेंडशिप आ गया
And then this, just stop it. This act we have given the Grand Prix Award in our RT Media Awards thing. Because it's a Tanish ad for engagement rings. And it has 4 different couples talking about different things. One of the couples, the woman is adopted, and then she wants to adopt a child. And then there is another couple where he doesn't want to take up a job, he wants to explore and is not interested. And then he shares it, they say that we are only talking about wedding preparations about our lives. You know. And then there is this third girl who is actually suffers from depression. And then she confesses to her partner that, you know, this is, and it will be difficult for you. So it's such a beautiful engagement rings, and then it is about marriage, it is about partnership, it is about sharing, and very beautifully done. Because it's a 4-minute video, I just took that part of it, which is about the person with suffering with depression.
Okay, we are done.
Finally, we are going to start getting together. My nose, they get really bad. I just, my depression, but you don't know about the days they don't eat. वो सब मैं जानती हूँ। कभी-कभी being by my side तुम्हारे लिए बहुत मुश्किल होगा। Do you want me to repeat it?
I won't let it. We will let it. Yeah. Right.
Like it? No. How many people like it? Some people did like it, but you did like it. Pictures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
Not like I like it or not like it. I didn't get my like it.
You didn't use it or not? You say, yeah, we can go to the That's wrong. You have to either raise your hand or say, no, I don't like it. Right? So this kind of candid conversation, this kind of exposure, this is a brand Tanish. And people value the brand. Tanish has excellent ads on gender. Every ad is a gender. So they have taken this up. And they have the money to have it aired every day. Thousands of times on different channels. And the message reaches you. So as somebody from the media, I urge all of you to take media very seriously. Collaborate with them, talk to them, work with them. And even if you make one small film, it is not going to reach more than maybe like 1 lakh. But one good movie, one ad film can make a difference. So I'm making this presentation with that appeal to you. The last one. So there are a lot of good advertisements which tell us how to invest or how to interact with the people with disabilities. So there is this Lenovo, this thing where a classroom filled with children with disabilities, I think autistic children, and a volunteer interact with them. It's such a cute ad, you must watch it. Then there is Policy Bazaar ads, which actually talks with how to make people with disabilities stand on their feet by investing in their, investing for their education, for their, skill development in that. And another very cute ad is the JK Cement ad, where the students, one of the students meets with an accident and he cannot come to school because there is no ramp. They go and ask the teachers, principal to construct, and she says, I don't have money. Then they pull all the money that they have and start constructing. That's influencing the school to construct a ramp, So providing something they as basic as a ramp in a school is something very nicely done. Then there is this future generic ad which actually hits the nail on the head. And it's one of the most sensitive and sensible ads. Let's have it.
No one can see your mind. What a performance, yeah. Well, she can't stay, she'll have a coffee.
Man, I didn't know you right. I must say you're such an inspiration.
We're not inspiration, more tragic.
Every little thing we do is not magic. We have a wild side.
We have tools and rules.
We take off places on maps. We have arguments and agreements.
We make fashion statements. We are gamers. And players.
Don't assume that we can't contribute.
Our abilities you can't refute.
We work overtime without a struggle.
Yet you reduce us to a side hustle.
Free from our perceptions.
Seen for our actions.
My difference doesn't define my ability.
Your judgment is my disability.
So that's the end of my presentation. I hope start looking for advertisements, communication with the public domain, call it out when it is wrong, appreciate when it is good, so that there is more and more engagement from the communicators on the issue of disability. Okay.
We'll take one quick question because we're very, very short of time over the schedule. Anyone has a question? Just one. Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Thanks for the lovely presentation. I just have something to add to talk about mythologies in the beginning and that how evil are portrayed. I mean, how disabled are portrayed as evil. But I read extensively about it and I have seen certain, like there is one sage, Ashtavakra. So he's one of the most renowned sage, known for his wisdom. So he had 8 deformities in his body. He is also seen as not evil and as someone who contributes. Then there is Lord Vishnu's Avtara, Vaman Avtara, who is a god. And also Manthara, she has been shown as a change maker in the sense that goddess Saraswati came on her tongue to, in order to, for her to speak those things so that the necessary change of plot can happen. So yeah, not necessarily everything is evil, but there is a mixed bag in mythology as well. So I just wanted to add that.
No, see, I never said they are shown as villains, right? I said sometimes, most of the time, they are shown as villains. You have read mythology, so you know what is the that. But if you just see Ramayana, this lady coming, putting poison in the minds of, Kausalya, and you see her as a, as a villain, right? Similarly, you see Shakti Mama doing the things or in the right? So you see them and then associate a certain disability or disability with a certain negative trait. Not negativity, we also have a lot of good people who have disabilities, right? It is not that. But generally, there are certain because not everybody goes into the depth, right? Then you show something. Maybe the reason for something thinking like that may be different or something. So we not see that every disabled person is shown as negative. But there is a tendency to show negative because we think negatively about them, so we also show them as negative characters. That's it.
Thank you so much. That's the power
Thank
of
you, ma'am.
media. The more you expose, the more you will know. Now, since you haven't known us, we know that part of it. That's what is important.
Thank you, ma'am. Your presentation is all right, ladies and gentlemen. It is now time for break. We have planned a 60-minute break and we will release 2.5 minutes in the hopes of catching up on the schedule. Lunch is being served outside like yesterday, and I request everyone to please come back in 45 minutes. Thank you so much for having me.